Imagine being 35 years old, broke and stranded in a foreign country with no way home. That's exactly what happened to a guy I met here in the Philippines. He came chasing paradise, but paradise has a price. And so basically what happened is I got a message on my Facebook, and it was from a Facebook friend, but it was somebody I didn't recognize. I was like, how do I know this guy? And I'll read the full message coming up, but it basically said, I have a Filipina girl, and we have a kid who's only a year old. We're down to 4 slices of bread, and I have no money for rent, electric, food, water, and they've already turned the water off. I'm asking for some help. I'm sending this to all my Facebook friends and hope for some help. I'm stuck. Stick around for the rest of the story. All right, guys, so I'm going to read you the message I got on Facebook, and I'll tell you how I actually know him. And it was interesting because at first glance, I was like, how do I know this person? He's one of my Facebook friends, and typically, unless I've talked personally or met somebody personally, then I won't accept Facebook friend requests, because I try to keep my Facebook just for family and personal friends. I know I'll get a lot of requests sometimes from other expats, but if I haven't met you or never talked to you, then I usually don't. I don't add, and I think a lot of people are like that. But so let me read the message here. It says, "At this point, I've got no choice but to make blind shots in the dark and pray anyone can help me survive another month, even after asking my close family for help. I'm still $285 short on rent. My water has been off for 2 days, and I have only 4 pieces of bread left to eat. I've spent months applying for work every day, but I've still yet to find anyone to hire me for a decent job, and freelancing is not covering it. My girlfriend has a possible job coming, but doesn't even have an interview for another month, and even if they pass, she won't start making money until she's done with the training for the job. If I can't get at least $285 for the rent within the next 18 hours or so, then my life is over, because my choices are literally starve on the street in a foreign country or get deported and never see my son again. I've sent the above message to every single person on my friends list in hopes that enough people can at least lend a small amount so I can survive. I'll update everyone if I'm able to get money." And I'll read the rest of the conversation, but first I was like, at this point, I was like, how do I know this person? And so I kind of looked back. I looked at him on Facebook, and I was like, he looks familiar. I looked at conversations on Facebook. We had no prior conversations. And then I was like, I wonder if I did a consultation with him. So I looked back in my email history on his name, and I saw that we did a consultation back in 2021. And then I looked on his Facebook and saw that he moved out to the Philippines sometime in 2023, probably early 2023. And so he'd been out here about 2 years now at this point. And I saw a baby who appeared to be about a year old at this point. So it looks like him and his girlfriend had a baby at about a year old. And I also saw that he was teaching English online. And then I remembered. I was like, okay, I remember talking to this guy. He was like 31 years old. He was going to be teaching English online. And I look back at some of my notes, because sometimes I'll make notes when I speak to somebody, so I remember in case they want a second consultation. And I looked back, and I remember telling him that I don't think you have enough of a safety nest. I don't think you have enough income coming in. And I remember making notes about that. And I remember him saying, oh, I'll be fine. I've landed a good job. And again, when you're young and you're coming out here, if you lose your job, you cannot wait to the very last moment. And that's apparently what this guy did. So anyway, I sent him a message, and I said this. I said, you need to get back home and work and send money to your family till you can come back. And he said, even going home isn't a possibility right now, Gio. especially not with the risk of being blacklisted. And I proceeded to tell him, why would you be blacklisted unless you haven't paid for your visa extensions? And he said, well, that's exactly it. Shortly after my son was born, I lost all 4 sources of income, and my savings were eaten up by medical expenses regarding both the birth and trying to figure out what was wrong with my girl. Turned out she had tuberculosis. But it took 2 years before it was diagnosed properly. We were trying to figure that out long before she even got pregnant. I found work since, but only temporary seasonal jobs. And now that I need help, not even my family's able to help me because my sister's in the negative. My father had a $5,000 tumor surgery in his ear. And so I told him, I said, sorry to hear that. I said, you should have got back home when you were down to your last $1,000, which is what I tell everybody. If you are at the point where you just have $1,000 left, get your ass back home. You don't wait and become homeless in a country with little to no support system. And I asked him, I said, how far behind are you on visa extensions? And again, I just want to make a note. I'm not mentioning his name or anything. I want to keep him anonymous, and I wasn't going to put him on the channel either. But I said, now you are in quite the hole. I'm not sure what to tell you. First thing, I guess I would contact the embassy, especially about being so far behind. And he said he's about 11 months behind. So I just want to explain something. If you get behind on your visa extensions, what will happen is, okay, you will owe the past visa extension, you'll owe the current one, and you'll owe about 1,000 pesos per month for late fees. And people really can get themselves in a hole, especially, you miss 1 month, like, oh, I'll catch up next month. Okay, now you have to pay the past one and the current one and 1,000 per month, and it's a snowball effect, and you just get yourself further and further behind. And he says, well, I've not been able to get enough to have as extra on top of just day-to-day living expenses and bills. I spoke to a lawyer about it, and they said that if I had the money when I went to renew it, everything would be fine. But if not, or if I broke another law, then I'd probably get blacklisted, which means I'd never see my son again. And so I did tell him, you can appeal a blacklisting. For the most part, if you get blacklisted for not paying your fines and you get able to get back home and they blacklist you, you can pay your previous fines and you probably can appeal it and get it overturned. It may take some time, but you can. And I told him, I said, you can appeal a blacklist. And I asked him, how old are you right now? And he said 35. And then I just told him, I said, well, I wish you the best of luck. He said, thanks. I don't know what else is going on with him. And then in the same day, I saw another post about a guy on an expat forum group asking for help, saying, hey, I'm stuck here in Palawan. Long story, I don't want to get into it, but I'm stuck here in Palawan. And I need at least an airplane ticket back to the US or back to, or even the UK, he said. And you just see this way too often. And I think the biggest mistakes are a few things. One, multiple sources of income, enough of a savings, and if emergencies happen, and that savings goes down and your income dries up, if you don't have a steady income, you need to get your ass back home. You don't wait until there's no more income coming in and there is no savings left. You don't want to get in that situation. Now, he brought a baby into this world, and now he's got a girlfriend dependent on him, and he's here. So I got people coming out to the pool, so I'm probably going to change locations here. Yeah. I don't want to take away from their swimming experience, and there's kids, so we'll move to a different location here. We'll move to the game room, which is fine. Just a quick break. Okay, so we're in the game room now, quieter, a little cooler too, out of the sun. Anyway, so the point is you don't wait till the very last moment. If you're down to $1,000, and especially if you've got 2 people you're supporting, you're just making it worse by being an extra mouth to feed. Get your butt back to the States, work, and then send money back to help them out until you get yourself situated again and you can get back out here and actually contribute. Otherwise, you're just dead weight to them. You're just an extra mouth to feed as well. So, you know, she probably could go back to the province maybe and live with a relative with the kid, and they would help out. They're very supportive that way here in the Philippines. The other thing, at 35, I'm sorry, unless you've got a fantastic job online that is guaranteed income, at age, I think he moved out here around 33. And that's too young, in my opinion. You haven't built up enough credits for, you know, to get Social Security. And so that's kind of a risk factor. And online teaching is not a job you can count on. Trust me, I did that when I first came out here. I was working at a regular English teaching job at a school. And I was also doing 2 online teaching jobs at the same time. So I had a few sources of income. I wasn't doing YouTube at that time. You gotta have steady income. You gotta have a safety net deposits. You gotta have multiple ways to access your money. You know, these mistakes, they just keep getting repeated. Everybody thinks, well, I'll get to the Philippines, I'll figure things out. I'll find a job here, I'll do this, I'll go work in the Philippines. Let me tell you, working here is not really an option for most people. I got very lucky when I landed a job here, and let me tell you, they do not want you as a foreigner. They do not want you working here. I had 2 interviews, one with immigration, one with DOLE, Department of Labor and Employment, and they questioned me and scrutinized. I mean, they wanted every reason to turn down my work visa. My company helped me, of course, get in and do the, you know, luckily I was the English advisor teaching Filipinos and American pronunciation, things like that. So they saw me as somebody who was okay to work for the school because they needed a native English speaker. So, and I was the only white face in the school, let me tell you. Out of over 1,000 employees, 1,200 some employees, most of them teachers, I was it. I was the only guy there working as a white guy anyway. So anyway, the point is guys, get your income taken care of. Get a nest egg. Get multiple ways to access your money. Do not get out here and have a kid and have a girlfriend and drag them down with you. You know, you have now brought them down to where you've got no water in the house. Electric's going to be turned off. You're going to be booted out of this place to live. You, your girlfriend, and your kid, and you got 4 slices of bread to eat. And I'm sorry, that's got to go to the kid and the wife. You know, you're going to have to figure things out. You need to get your butt back home. You need to work, send money back, and if you get blacklisted, you get blacklisted. You can appeal it later. The best thing you can do is help them from being back home, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this. I don't mean to be harsh to the guy. You know, he was a nice guy. I remember talking to him. And again, I'm keeping it totally anonymous. But, and then the guy in Palawan, you know, in the expat forums. And I see it all the time in the expat forums here. And you think guys send money? No. They're just going to give you crap and make fun of you in the forums. Never get to the point where you don't have enough money to get back home if an emergency happens. It's just, you don't do it. At least have a credit card. Have a credit card at least where you keep that open in case of an emergency, even at a hospital or a plane ticket back home. You know, you don't wait till you have 0 left, no food, water turned off, being kicked out on the street. You don't wait till that moment. So guys, let me know what you think. Maybe I was harsh, maybe I'm not. I don't know. You tell me your opinions on it. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Check out my website for more Geo in the Philippines information, tips, and my Geo Travel Essentials for all the things I recommend for living or traveling throughout the Philippines or even Southeast Asia. See you guys.